What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Thank you guys for joining in to the Voice of the Fan podcast on a brisk October morning in the Northwest. Boy, I tell you what, I haven't felt that October chill. It's been years, bro. I can tell you honestly, it's been years since I felt that October chill, and it just was a little brisker than it has been for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Cleveland, what did you feel when you opened up the door this morning? Take the little pooch for a walk.
No, it was okay, Cam. I mean, it was pretty,
Here we go.
Standard for what's going on right now. It's been pleasant, man. It's been an Indian summer, and I can't complain about it.
Man, I felt a chill this morning when I was outside at 6:30 in the morning. It was a little chill in the air. I don't know if that's too early for you, but I haven't felt that particular chill, and it was a reminiscent of the past. I felt it before, and that's what I'm saying. I noticed it was an October chill. I ain't felt that chill in a long time, fans. For those that know, I'm on location. You guys see that in my background, but that's Betty Boop in the background. But fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is week 311, Cleveland, 311 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. And most week we get the show started like this. So today we're going to get the show started like this too.
Am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name
Cameron.
is Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford.
We got some good questions today.
I'm a golfer fan.
There's always room for improvement. This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
All we want to see every year are the best two muggers getting in the ring and getting on.
Best people to fight for this. Somehow we got away from that because guys are trying to protect their record.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter, and the fighter works for the promoter.
Okay. Talk about that loyalty for a moment. I'm standing there to try to make a change. Give back to the youth, give back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
Can I finish? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me?
What do you think about these type of
Aaron, like I was saying before.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve,
tears.
Come on, you were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
The real ones know what's going on, right?
Like you said, Pacific Northwest. So, I think it's a big part of my game. And every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn to win a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm happy
Yeah,
for the whole
yeah,
Kansas
no,
City.
yeah,
I was
Cam,
trying to send them
nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
You look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
You played against Michael Jordan, and you said LeBron is the best player in the history of the game? Did you guys hear that?
Oh, this guy.
Hey, come here. It's okay. It's okay.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's the big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sport.
Thank you for making our voice your choice.
And really appreciate you listening to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Check it out every single week.
Yes, what's up, Snoop? What's good, Snoop? Yeah, my guy. You don't know nothing about Snoop. Fans, how you doing? Thank you guys again for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Each and every week, we give you a lot of content. We're going to talk about the NFL weekly recap and preview for our picks for this week. Cleveland, we got some NBA topics. The NBA is right around the corner. Just when that October chill fits in, here comes the NBA, and we got baseball season. This is a busy time of year for a lot of baseball fans around here. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. We even got some boxing news, Cleveland, that we I think we overlooked last week. But we play the numbers. We play an assortment of games. We play our numbers game to kick off the show. We got our This Week in History segment, which ought to be pretty interesting in mid part of the show. And then we end the show with the quote, Cleveland. But for our numbers game, with it being October 2nd, week 311 of the Voice of the Fans podcast, Cleveland. When you think of the number 2, which player comes to your mind first, or which number? Who do you think about most?
Cam, who comes to mind first right now is probably Shedeur Sanders, or what he's doing over there in Colorado. Kind of,
have they done anything in Colorado?
Following Pop's lead, and got them guys, I believe, 3-1 or 4-1. And who wore the best is Derek Jeter, King of New York.
Moses Malone, you wouldn't rather have Moses Malone career than Derek Jeter?
5-time World Series champion in New York now.
Okay. When you think of the number 11, who wore that jersey the best, or who comes to your mind first when you think of number 11?
Who is coming to mind first is that point guard in Jalen Brunson in New York. I think they've
boy, here you go.
Kind of put a little bit too much on his shoulders, but who wore it the best?
See how you do.
Who wore it the best was that other point guard from Detroit, about the same size, a cat named Isaiah Thomas.
Well, you're looking at Isaiah Thomas finishes the finish of his career. I believe Brunson has a championship in college, don't he?
So does Isaiah Thomas. What's your point?
I'm saying, so they're matched there. So Brunson just got to win a couple more to be, on par with him, right?
Yeah, he would have to go to the championship 3 straight years.
Well, that's what Isaiah did.
Let's start there.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, I mean, they're on the way. We'll get into that trade. I don't think that trade is a step to getting them to the playoffs, but the Knicks is on their way. We'll have a Knicks conversation here in a little bit, but I appreciate your input. So you didn't even mention Edgar Martinez. I wonder why not. I wonder why Ed Martinez wasn't mentioned in this soliloquy of who comes in first, or who that jersey number the best.
I am thinking about him quite a bit. He didn't wear it as good as Isaiah. He never won a championship.
Okay,
but he's an integral part of the future, moving forward. So hopefully he stays. So yeah, he's definitely in my thoughts, no doubt.
Well, I'm sorry, fans. I have to take a break from the show for a minute to go off on a tangent. I went to support Cleveland's funky Seattle Mariners this past weekend and went down to the stadium. And Cleveland, did the team not have a 5-3 lead in the bottom of the ninth inning? I'm taking the elevator downstairs, like. My brother's like, well, we're not missing nothing. And I was like, well, the Mariners, they're liable to give it up any minute. As soon as the elevator doors open, we heard a smack at the bat, and the Mariners had given up a 2-run home run to tie the game a couple nights ago. It was Cleveland. You saw the video. I sent it to you. I should have had that video ready to run right now. In fact, that's going to be my next edit. But the Mariners did end up winning the game. But I walked to my car, and Seattle police, Cleveland, jacked my car. The Seattle Towing Company jacked my car and had me way up on Aurora trying to find where my vehicle was because they had towed it away. Because apparently you can't park on a block that has no parking signs anywhere. No parking signs. You have to look up the block or on the next block to find out if you can park in this particular spot. I was so disappointed in my hometown, Seattle, for their parking enforcement, Cleveland. Do you want to defend them at all?
Sure, Cam. I don't know if you saw the show Towing Wars back in the day. It is very clear that there are certain signs and outlines and guardrails that let you know when and where to park and for how much. So I'm not quite sure if you were, taking in all of the information from the surrounding areas, but it sounds like, perhaps something kind of slipped through the cracks there for you.
Well, I got a case on my hands because I'm definitely contesting this BS ticket I got from going to support these bummy Mariners in their final win of the season. I was disappointed with your Mariners, Cleveland. I was disappointed in the city for not supporting the Mariner fans. Because why did you think I was able to find a parking spot? And shame on you, city, for not having that officially signed up and properly warranted or in viewable distance for everybody to see. Because I got pictures. And I'm coming after you guys. But yeah, shame on your city for not even having support the Mariner fans. Like, you know what I'm there for. So what are you taking me for, bum? No, they didn't even ticket me. That's the sad thing. If they gave me the ticket, that's one thing. They towed the vehicle. Like I get to where I was parked at, Cleveland. I don't know if you've been through that situation. You get to where you're parked at, and the vehicle is not there. Now, sure, okay, I was probably 2 or 3 adult beverages in. But I had time to walk it off because I had 4 blocks to walk to get to my car from any spot that we were at. But I know where the vehicle was at. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that was kind of frustrating. Anyway, Cleveland, we're going to have some Mariners talk as well, and I'm surprised just all you Mariners. I mean, Edgar Martinez has his own street, and I asked you who were the best player to wear number 11, and his name doesn't even come up from your Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, he didn't wear it better than Isaiah Thomas. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
You don't have to tell me nothing, man. What's your thoughts on this weekend in the NFL, Cleveland? I got a bunch of stereo lines that I could talk about, like Jared Goff mauling the Seattle Seahawks and putting up record numbers. Jaden Daniels putting up record numbers again. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to give credit now to Sam Darnold, or you want to give credit to Kevin Connell? Let's start there. Who do you want to give credit to right now for Minnesota's success?
Sam Darnold has been playing outstanding. I mean, he's been healthy. He's been poised in the pocket. He went to Lambeau Field, a very tough place to win, and came out with a victory there. Him and Justin Jefferson have a chemistry, and he's just building on, what the foundation is over there.
And this doesn't have anything to do with the head coach, Cleveland?
Certainly. I mean, Brian Flores has been doing a great job defense and has been teams, I believe, to like 16 or 17 points a game, something crazy like that before this anomaly of the last game. And Kevin O'Connell, give him credit, man. He made lemonade out of lemons, man. His prodigy, his golden boy, JJ McCarthy, got hurt, wasn't able to even think about sniffing the season, out for the entire year. And then Sam Darnold just continues to listen and apprentice underneath the coach, and doing great things so far.
So I've asked you since Tua Tagovailoa went down with the injury, and more or less told you kind of in prediction fashion that Mike McDaniels is going to struggle. I told you he's on the hot seat, to be more specific, because as Kevin O'Connell has won with the backup quarterback, as the Indianapolis Colts have won with the backup quarterback, we have seen teams around the league win with their backup quarterback. And the Miami Dolphins look absolutely putrid with their second, third, and fourth string backup quarterbacks. Cleveland, I mentioned it to you a couple weeks ago. Why is it not dereliction of duty for the Miami Dolphins GM, Chris Grier, not to be questioned in here for having a quarterback we knew was injury prone and not having a backup quarterback? Why? How is that possible? Is that not a dereliction of duty, Cleveland?
Not really a dereliction of duty, Cam. It is allocating funds, where the need is most, necessary. Tyreek had to get paid. Jalen had to get paid. The running backs had to get paid. Jalen Ramsey had to get paid. You don't have enough money. At some point, there is a salary cap, so you run out. And so the thing that they were focused on is keeping Tua Tagovailoa healthy and upright.
I mean, it's not like they spent a lot of money on the offensive line to keep Tua Tagovailoa healthy and upright. They didn't spend a lot of money on investing on.
They spent money on the weapons that Tua throws to, and the defensive secondary, which kind of covers his back on the other side. Now, Cameron, it's one thing to say that you should have like an adequate backup, but everybody knows, this team is built to run around Tua. We saw the same thing happen in Cincinnati last year when
Browning had a couple games.
Browning had a couple of good games. They had
our guys look putrid, Cleveland. Our guys look putrid.
It all fell apart.
Well, where are our couple games? That's what I'm saying. Where are our couple games?
Well,
the Miami Dolphins have looked absolutely putrid, Cleveland, and it.
The Miami Dolphins are crossing their fingers that perhaps Tua Tagovailoa can be back by week 9 or 10. Hopefully, it's not terrible by then.
Well, week 8, but it's definitely going to be insurmountable. They're liable to go. I mean, this is a big game here. And this is what I'm telling you. These backup quarterbacks that are shining with other teams, and I gave you the examples, we need to see Mike McDaniel work some magic. Because you said Kevin O'Connell made lemon out of lemonades.
I told you Mike McDaniel was going to do that. He needs what he needs.
No, Cleveland, that's like putting what you described as paying all those wideouts of people that Tua throws to. That's like putting tires and rims on a car when you need like some body work. You just need some straight up body work to enhance what the rims and tires are going to do. Like
that's a horrible example, Cameron.
Why is that?
What's going on over there is that the main cog that makes the whole thing go is not in the system right now, and therefore the system doesn't work. And what you want is that Mike Shanahan type mentality, just plug and play. We'll just plug the next quarterback in there. He's been.
So what I want is a quarterback is the offensive
step in there and like Tua. Just do what Tua does.
No. What I want is his offensive goal, and that's part of the problem. No. He hasn't changed. He hasn't changed his offense. He's telling the quarterback.
Whoever told you he was flexible.
What I'm telling you is he's supposed to be offensive guru, Cleveland, and this is what Mr. Tennis player over there fans what he doesn't understand about leadership and coaching. As a coach, as a leader, you take the tools you have and get the best out of these tools. So you could be right. This offense that was perfect for Tua Tagovailoa to run. We can't run it without Tua. You're not wrong in saying that. I get it. That's not what I'm asking you. But I'm saying, can this coach, who's supposed to be innovative and ingenious and an offensive guru, you can't take the quarterback and run a couple plays that make you look like you guys have got some sense?
Yeah, and the answer is no. The answer is no. No, he can't do that.
Well, that's the problem. That's not the coach. That's not the coach. That's not a championship type of coach.
That he was going
to championship coach.
Coach never told you that he could take Skylar Thompson and take you to the playoffs. He never told you that.
So this might be solely on the GM. Like, dog, how are we running around here with inadequate offensive line, inadequate backup quarterback. When we have the most injury-prone quarterback in the last 2 years in the NFL, is the face of injury-prone quarterback today in the world, not even just the NFL, in the world, is Tua Tagovailoa. And we don't have an adequate backup for that guy?
Again, the funds were allocated in different ways with the premise.
There you go. What we some extra armor all? We bought some extra armor all for the car, for the tires and the rims. We bought rim protection. But we have nothing, no backup plan.
That he needs to run this efficient offense. I'm so sorry you guys didn't get Gardner Minshew in the offseason. That wasn't one of the priorities.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. You gonna quit talking about Gardner, the Cougar, like that.
Okay, well, you ask Antonio Pierce what he thinks about Gardner right about now.
Low blow. Antonio Pierce. I mean, Cleveland, we're going to have to get into it. Might as well bring it up right now. You try to segue. That was a low blow, I have you know, on Gardner right there. And you know it. That was a low blow. The Raiders, Antonio Pierce says he tries to say, I'm off to Denver. I'm only thinking about the Broncos right now. Like the people in the publication is going to buy that. Do they approve the trade request of Davante Adams? Are they sound like they're willing to honor the trade request of Davante Adams? Would you trade him? Do you think he'll be traded? And where do you think was the best fit for him if he were to be traded?
That is so many different questions, Cam. And
it's not that many.
Let me start with the first one. No, but they are kind of all over the place. Let me start with the first one. If the Raiders are doing the noble thing, yes, they will trade Davante Adams because they originally traded for him because his quarterback from college was there and they were reuniting. And then they let the quarterback go, and then they show him nothing but very average to less than average quarterbacks for a Ferrari at the receiver position. And as we know, Cam, as I say over and over again, you can't throw the ball to yourself, so you only can be so effective as a receiver. Now, unfortunately, as a receiver without a good quarterback. Now, unfortunately for Davante, he's coming into this whole thing after like 5 receivers done got paid, out the yin yang. So there's no place for him to really go to be super duper effective and certainly not have that immediate impact because there are so many teams that don't have good quarterbacks. And the ones that do already locked up their star receiver for 5 years and $150 million. So that's going to be a problem. And then lastly, what is it that he's trying to accomplish in these last couple of years? Is it more money? Is it a Super Bowl? Is it a nice environment for him and his family? Warm weather? I mean, he's already in Las Vegas. I know he doesn't really truly want to leave Las Vegas, but he truly does not want to play for the Las Vegas Raiders either. That it's, not a very, strongly run organization, and they don't really have a direction going forward. And he already said in the receivers documentary on Netflix, like, man, you guys are trying to get me killed out here. I'm not trying to do all that. AKA like our guy Eric Dickerson when he got traded to the Colts, like, hey, you guys are trying to get me killed out here. I'm not really down for all that, but where can he go and make what he makes and still accomplish what he wants to accomplish? I think the list is very, very short. I know I've heard the Jets, but we already talked about that. Aaron Rodgers is not who we thought he was going to be this year.
Whoa. Aaron Rodgers is not who thought?
Well, I thought he was going to be this year.
Thank you.
I thought he was going to be Aaron Rodgers up 2 years ago. Not so far. Maybe he's still working on, getting that ring rust off him. Not sure. We don't have a whole bunch of time. It's the NFL, so you got to do it now or never. Yeah, and then, again, following your your college quarterback to a second stop in the NFL, and a team that's like, okay, they already got Olave supposed to be their number one guy. They already got Shaheed, and now what? You're coming in to be like the $35 million guy? It's like, okay.
I mean, it's a following car to another team.
Bengals, Joe Burrow, because they already have their own receiver issues, exponentially to deal with over there. So where's there to go?
Ooh, shit. With T Higgins for Devontae? Well, straight up, would you do it? Straight if the Bengals offered you the Raiders, Al Davis, the young Davis, would you take T Higgins for Devontae straight up?
If I was the Raiders, yeah, for sure. But not if I'm the Bengals.
Why not?
Because Devontae wants his money, and it's just that much more of a headache. They already have wide receiver problems over there.
He's not gonna.
They don't even know what they're gonna do with Jamar Chase. Why would you add Devontae Adams to the equation?
Well, I mean, Devontae Adams is not Antonio Brown. He's gonna go there and be a professional.
To Cincinnati at this point in his career, you sure?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Taco Bell commercials,
Oh, that doesn't make him a professional because he's the Taco Bell commercials.
Well, I mean, no, he knows what his value is, and he knows that Cincinnati is not a good organization.
But he knows there's a good quarterback there. If you're coming from the angle of he don't want to play with his college friend,
his contract kicks up to $35 million next year, and he doesn't want to renegotiate it.
I mean, Devontae.
But I know when you put that, you want everybody to sacrifice.
Devontae. I mean, how many touchdowns will you score the last couple of years, bro?
Yeah.
How many touchdowns? You know what I'm saying? I know you open. I get you open. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. But when it comes down to how many touchdowns, how many times you've been in? So, and then for that, yeah, we're gonna have to do a little. I mean, wherever he goes, where does he go? What do you think the best fit for him is? Let's go there, because I can argue. I can argue the 49ers. That would solve not solve a 49er issue, but it would improve a 49er issue next week. For week 6.
And that sounds like you missed everything that I was talking about previously.
No, I heard what you said, and that's what I pointed. That's why I pointed that out. That would solve the 49er issue next week. That's not a long term.
So from what I said, what's the problem with going to the 49ers?
Because he's going to want to get paid.
No. They already paid their receiver $150 million, and so Devontae's worth $35 next year. You're gonna have $70 million in receivers.
Okay, Cleveland. What do you think? Where do you think is the best fit? Cowboys have money for him. The Bills, who don't have right now, they're leaning on some young dudes or no name dudes to take Josh Allen to the promised land. The Ravens. Which out of those teams do you think he'll have a best fit, or do you think he's gonna stay with the Raiders because they owe him $35 million?
I think the best fit would be either the Jets, the Commanders, or the Seahawks.
Oh, what? The who? How is the Seahawks going to jump in there?
Yeah, come to the end of the road for Tyler Lockett. Love him to death.
I need more than Tyler Lockett, though. What are you thinking?
No, the Raiders don't want a second-round pick. We'll give him a second-round pick for Devontae Adams.
I might say Tyler Lockett and a second-round pick.
Well, they already made their terms publicly now. It's like a second-round pick.
Well, if that's a deal, I don't know. I like to see him with the Ravens. I like to see if that would be not the solidity, not the the straw that broke the camel's back for the Ravens, but would he make Lamar look that much better? You know what I'm saying? Now, because there ain't going to be no questions now if can Lamar complete a pass to a quality wide receiver. Like, he's doing that with Rice until Rice's mess up in the Super Bowl, or was that in the Super Bowl? Yeah, with the or the championship game, AFC championship game. But can he do that with Devontae Adams? Like,
and the answer is no. We've already seen that Lamar Jackson is never going to be a pure passer, and that's what Devontae needs.
Right. I mean, I think that's what he kind of wants. And you started off by, what does he want? Does he want to go to a warm weather town?
Well, yeah, I can't speak for him. I mean, there's a lot of
factors
on the table. I know he certainly wants at no less than 30 coming out of all of this. So he's already slated to make 35 next year. So you want me to restructure my contract? Well, why am I doing that?
Well, so you're saying go send him to the Dolphins so he can just live in Miami?
No, Dolphins already got 2 receivers making buku bread, and that's not one of the options.
I do Hill for Devontae tomorrow.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, the number 1 player of the NFL voted by the NFL players. No,
I would do Hill for Devontae and that second round pick that you want.
Manager, because that's not a great trade.
As long as he renegotiated, and I'm getting it.
I know. As long as he stayed a year $14 an hour for sure.
I mean, we gonna keep it. I'll keep it at 30. He can get 30. But that's not really. That was just some interesting talk that I think deserved a conversation. Because I think I'd like to see him. I would like to see him with Baltimore though. To see how that look. I mean, again, that kind of, I don't say completely solves their problems, but that puts, that makes the job easier for Lamar. And right now, that's what I want to see. But look like the Ravens didn't need any much help against the Buffalo Bills. What's your thoughts on the Raiders' domination of the Buffalo Bills in kind of both teams right there?
Didn't really see it coming. I thought Buffalo had a kind of corrected some of the issues that they had in the past with regards to the balanced offense and not taking the game seriously. They seem to be kind of steamrolling. But again, somewhat inferior opponents. But the Ravens like to play with their food a lot. Lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, the aforementioned Las Vegas Raiders, and hadn't really looked good to start the year. Fortunately got that that big win over there at Dallas, which kind of propelled them into this game. And the demise of King Henry has been greatly exaggerated by some of the people on this show, and I'm not one of them. But he finally kind of kicked it up, and he kind of showed what it looks like to try and tackle someone like that for 4 quarters.
So, I mean, I heard that little dig at me because I said he's going to be a glorified short yardage back. He had a hell of a game. He had a hell of a game, but that was one game in 25% right now. He's about, speaking of baseball,
for that against the Dallas Cowboys, how'd that game look?
Oh yeah, that was a good game too. So 50%.
Oh, okay. So he's putting back-to-back good games. Hell of a games back-to-back. That's kind of what good running backs do, Cam. Just saying.
What school did he go to?
He is currently playing for the Baltimore Ravens. Yes.
Oh, I was asking what school he went to though, because I know your affinity.
I forgot what high school in Florida he went to when he broke the Florida state record and stuff.
What's your thoughts on the Vikings over the Packers? I mean, Jordan Love coming back, was that a little too soon? Did he look uncomfortable? What's your thoughts of the Vikings kind of going to work again? Sam Darnold doing his thing, playing catch with Justin Jefferson, and then your boy who may not ever get a look at a head coach again. But apparently he knows this, and he's just taking what you have and making it work. Brian Flores, molding that Vikings defense. He's been, I think, they're 3 years now, molding that Vikings defense and doing something special.
Yeah. First and foremost,
He ain't buying it. He's not buying it, fans.
No,
He's
no
still
one's,
not buying Sam Darnold.
no one's
And-
listening to you when you try and heap praise on Brian Flores, who you ran out of town. Set his car on fire. So
yeah, I was out there. There's footage of that.
So nobody is saying that with regards to this offense and Sam Darnold. It is they're playing extraordinarily well. Let's continue to do so. If they can, and that's kind of what I think about them right now.
If they can, every time when the teams get off to a little hot streak, Cleveland is the last to give them any kind of credit or respect for what they're doing. Unlike myself, who I reward the progress. Cleveland's going to wait till they lose and go 6-0, and then they shouldn't have lost that game. Well, Cleveland, for the last month and a half, they've been winning games, and you still been reluctant to give them the credit. So when they go 7-1, and then he'll want to jump off,
And I'm so sorry. Sorry. I digress. You were talking about Jordan Love at the beginning of this, and did they rush him back? No. When you're physically able to play, you should play. And especially when we're giving you $50 million, he look a little rusty, a little bit, but he still made some great throws. And he brought that team back within 2 points of a victory. So let's not take anything away from him, but perhaps we gave him a little bit too much too soon. I think this season, is going to be a lot of we gave them a little bit too much too soon. I think we're going to see a lot of that
around the league, throughout the league. You're talking about
throughout the league. I know that you feel personally connected to the Tua Tagovailoa thing. But, I think we're going to see some other things where you just gave them a little bit too much too soon.
Well, are they giving Jayden Daniels too much too soon? Jayden Daniels set another completion record, Cleveland, the other in his game. He set the one on Monday Night Football, but then he comes back, Cleveland, and goes 86% in their last win. 26 for 30, Cleveland. These are like PlayStation type numbers. 1 touchdown. He did have an interception. But a 141.7 rating. Cleveland, they were 9 of 12 on third down. That's pretty impressive too when you look at just that number alone. That means you're executing in critical time. Third down is arguably, we do know they have 4 downs, but arguably third down is one of the most critical downs, right? Unless you're 4th and 1 on the goal line. That makes that obviously a little bit more critical. But third down throughout the game are critical moments in every game, and he's connected, Cleveland, 75% of the time, 9 of 12. I'm going to ask you again, because I think I asked you this last week, but I'm asking you this week again, is he the best quarterback in the division?
I don't think he's the best quarterback in the division, but he's playing remarkably well, given the short sample size of what he's been able to do. Again, here we go. There's going to be more tape on him, and he's going to play better teams. So we'll see if it's sustainable. But right now, he's playing lights out. He's playing great ball, and like to see the maturation process. I didn't believe in him. I'll be the first person to say that. I didn't believe in him.
Okay.
That was major hype. I thought he put up big numbers against teams that were not particularly good. The same can be said kind of, at this level. He's put up big numbers against teams that aren't particularly good.
Oh, you're taking shots at him now.
But he will have his opportunity.
I'm sending this tape. I'm sending this tape to you.
To play better teams. And to answer your question, no, he's not the best quarterback in the division.
I'm sending you a tape of this, Jaden. That wasn't me. That wasn't me who I'm rooting for you, Jaden. That was Cleveland over there taking little slight shots at you. Wondering if you can do it again. I'm gonna send this. I'm marking this tape, Cleveland. Who's the best division? If you don't want to give him the recognition, who's
Dak
the best?
Prescott's the best quarterback in that division.
Who?
Dak Prescott.
Ooh. Now we give Dak some Prescott. Dak Prescott some credit. Talk about your quarterback. talk about your quarterback. What your quarterback did as he watched Geno Smith, as he watched Goff have a perfect game. How did that impact Geno Smith in the Seahawks?
You know, Geno Smith certainly battled. He has looked incredible under this Ryan Grubb offense. He's getting the ball spread to a lot of different receivers, using the tight end effectively. Kenneth Walker III had an opportunity to come back and have a great game. I think it personally benefited you on another level, we'll talk about later. But, yeah, he's played well. He's played well. And, you know, I know he is unfortunately, he's in a kind of a predicament. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit older.
So you're already aging him out of the position,
and is probably going to be asking for some more money, and that's when you know, John Schneider puts on his Cam Buford hat and says, "Hey man, look what we did for you. You know, look how we let you reinvent yourself. You know, what's a couple extra, you know, $10-15 million a year. You know, you like it up here in the 206, you know, clean water, fresh air, you know, good seafood, you know, why don't you take the hometown discount some more?" So that's what's coming on the horizon. But as far as his play this year, it's been stellar so far. Hopefully it continues and he stays healthy.
Another backhanded shot. Cleveland. Why are you taking so many shots tonight?
I'm not taking any shots.
So just to let the fans know, are you happy with Geno Smith is doing for you guys?
Happy with what Geno has done so far this season. It's been very, very steady, you know, efficient, and you know, hey man, has shown some poise in the pocket and you know, an ability to rally the team around him.
I take it you were more impressed with Jared Goff last night, though.
I mean, I was, you know, Jared did some things, man, but I wasn't like, ooh, look what Jared Goff's doing. I mean, it was clearly, from my perspective, he played against a very depleted defense, and the running game was very effective early, and which made the play action even that much more effective. And he was able to take advantage of a defense that has the propensity to kind of over pursue, and they're a little over aggressive, and you know, they kind of played right into the Detroit Lions' hands last night. And you know, a couple of times the pressure was right there. I mean, within a, you know, got a little bit of hold of the jersey, not quite enough to bring you down, and extended the play long enough to make things happen. So big plays on their end, but I wasn't like, ooh, Jared Goff is, man, wish I had him on my team. I wasn't at that point about it. No.
You still a little residual hate for Jared Goff from when he played in your division?
No, he played outstanding. I mean, I have Jared Goff on some of my fantasy football teams. Sorry, I benched him. He went perfect. You know.
How's that other guy you picked up for your fantasy football team? How's he doing?
Man, you know, I was a little disappointed in his performance. I mean, I expect a little bit more out of him, out of the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. You know.
Were you?
So they weren't really all that impressive to me.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm not sure he outscored any of the other quarterbacks I had on my team. I haven't had a chance to check just yet. I know I did win the matchup pretty handily, but I didn't see how he did with regards to the other quarterbacks on my roster.
So basically,
I've been hearing all the talk, all the banter back and forth, and how Purdy's this, Purdy's that, and you know, some on the.
He had a big game. He had a big game Sunday. What are you talking about?
I'm on the available list. I saw that my guy still needs a couple of weeks to get his bearings, get a little bit more mature before he's ready to get out there, and so I went out and got a you know, your guy, Mr. Irrelevant, and you know, I'm not saying he played irrelevantly, but it wasn't like ooh.
He put up a couple touchdowns. What are you talking about? Big win for the Niners. I don't know what you talk over here. I mean, what you want the guy to do? One touchdown, one interception. I mean, 89% QBR. I mean, what you want this guy to do? He had a couple drops too. But,
yeah, I think Baker Mayfield numbers dwarf that dude's.
Oh, okay. Well, pick up Baker then. Go pick up Baker. Let us know how Baker doing for you.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, maybe you will. Maybe you should. What do you think about the Steelers right now? They took one on the chin against the Colts, but they're 3-1. I think this is a better place than any Steeler fan could have anticipated. They got out to the better start, the hottest start since the team did it 2020 when they ran off 12 consecutive games. Like, this has been an impressive start, and it's led by a quarterback who all the pundits didn't know even 3 weeks ago who was going to be the team's quarterback. So the Steelers have an off season of where they picked up Russell Wilson, a veteran quarterback from the Denver Broncos. Or really, they signed him. There wasn't no trade involved. And then they traded for the young Justin Fields. And the whole question was, well, who's going to play? What week would it take for Justin Fields to get in the game? That's really what the question was up until a few weeks ago. And somehow, mysteriously, Cleveland, there's been a calf injury. And has Russell had a full week of practice with the Steelers yet? Because we've been hearing about this calf injury for the last 6 weeks, haven't we? And leading up into the season, would Russell be healthy? Mike Tomlin, who you're going with, and I know he tried to refuse to answer any questions about it, but since you're holding your quarterback out, and I mean, who's to say about this injury? I mean, this injury seems kind of mysterious for an individual with kind of on his last chance in the NFL, a former superstar trying to reclaim his fame. Like, I don't recall a guy in this stretch of his career just willingly sitting out games. And that's what it appears Russell Wilson's doing because of a calf injury, Cleveland? A calf injury? Come on. Is that kind of wild to you?
No, Cam. I mean, I know the way that you like to trivialize injuries and make them seem like they're not really real and people are just faking and pretending.
We're going on 6 weeks on the calf injury streak. On a calf injury. Was it a torn Achilles?
So given the fact that this person has played, like 115 straight games in a row and has an incredibly high threshold for pain, maybe you should give him a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. I know that's not really your thing because you look at certain injuries and say, well, they should just be out there just because, and not really giving credence or consideration to what the injury may be, although you're not a doctor. But, he hasn't had a chance to play. He hasn't practiced as much as you would like. And Justin Fields has stepped in and has done admirable in his absence. And as we all know, that when the quarterback is hot, you ride the hot hand. You don't necessarily make those changes. Ask Drew Bledsoe about that. Ask Brad Johnson about that. Sometimes you just have to go with what's going on right now. And right now, Justin Fields is playing well. Arthur Smith is calling a good game for him. They might even trade for a top-notch receiver to increase his chances of being more productive. But make no mistake, they won their first game. They kicked 6 field goals. They won the next game. They scored a touchdown. They won their next game. They scored one touchdown on offense, one on defense. And
their defense has been playing. Their defense has been playing lights out football.
First game that they really actually looked, somewhat decent and formidable on offense. So you can't say it's all about Justin Fields and his productivity, although he has been more than adequate. And to your point earlier, had they not had a good backup, well, look where the Steelers would be right now. Certainly not.
See, so you bring it all the way back around. I appreciate you doing that.
That's very unique that you have two former starting quarterbacks.
Well, certainly it is.
One a Super Bowl champion in the same quarterback room. That's kind of rare these days.
But their GM did go kind of put the team in that situation. So
for sure, because to get Russell Wilson for $1 million, and the Chicago Bears knew they were drafting Caleb Williams and would take a 5th round pick for their starting quarterback. So yeah, they were fortunate with that respect.
Well, with that being said, their defense is playing lights out. Their defense is giving up only less than 10 points in both of their win or all 3 of their wins. They're giving up less than 3 points. They let Indianapolis score 27 points this week, and they only scored 24. So right there, the philosophy is let TJ Watt get after the quarterback, and the defense is generally going to give up under 10 points. And with that, if you can just manufacture a couple drives, manufacture 2 to 3 drives per game to get you that 14 to 21 points, it looks like your guy Mike Tomlin is leaning on that to get them to make them successful. As you know, they have the tone setter back there in Micah Fitzpatrick, and when you have that guy kind of directing the traffic and the defense kind of coaching some of the young guys up, you can allow that, gives you more flexibility, to allow TJ Watt to get after the quarterback and little Ironhead to get out there and do his thing. So I think the Steelers after the performance that Baltimore put on, the beatdown Baltimore put on the Bills, I'm hesitant to say the Steelers, I will say this, the Steelers have been more impressive this season than I anticipated. You can't poo-poo 3 consecutive wins. Like I said, it dates back to their efficiency hasn't been this good. Their winning percentage hasn't been this good since 2020 when they won 12 consecutive games. But you have to give them a lot of credit. Where do you see their ceiling being? Can they do this? Can they ride Justin Fields to the playoffs?
For sure. I believe they have the potential to make the playoffs. I see 10-11 wins, no less.
10 or, I mean, they're off to a good start. Next week, let's see who they have next week, Cleveland.
Dallas Cowboys.
They played that. Can they beat Dallas in Dallas? I mean, I guess that's kind of a show and tell of who they are, right?
In Dallas.
Huh?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. It's at Pittsburgh. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still a big game. Can they beat Dallas? Then they got the Raiders, they got the Jets, the Giants.
And then it sounds like the schedule loosens up a little bit. Right?
Loosens up for them. Loosens up a bunch until they see the Ravens until in November 17th. This will be interesting. So they're going to fall into, and they're taking the spot of the Miami Dolphins. As I mentioned, if you remember before the season, fans, I told you the Miami Dolphins would not make the playoffs. Cleveland laughed at me. I think Eric even laughed at me as well. I told you guys the Miami Dolphins, with or without Tua, would not be in the playoffs. And it's just kind of Tua going out for however many games. Just kind of cements that notion. So are you willing to show some love and respect for my appreciation for my prognostication, sir?
Well, I think that without Tua Tagovailoa not making the playoffs is kind of like oxymoron. Well, for sure they're not going to make the playoffs without Tua. But I think that the argument that me and Eric had was more with healthy Tua Tagovailoa and that offense. And
I said no.
Okay, well, there's no answer to that question, so you can't defend yourself on that. I mean, as far as you saying that they're not going to make the playoffs without Tua, I mean that's kind of goes without saying. So.
I do think you guys laughed at me when I said they wouldn't make the playoffs. So, and you didn't expect them to look this putrid against the Texans. The Jets lose to the Broncos. Let's talk about your boy Saleh. Him playing it on Rodgers' cadence. Let's talk about how your receiver Garrett Wilson says this isn't the same route tree he's been running. What's going on up there in New York? I thought you guys were primed and ready to go, Cleveland.
Yeah, we were, because Saleh is a great defensive-minded coach. He holds his team together.
Are you sure?
I am 100% sure that the Denver Broncos quarterback only threw for 60 yards last weekend, and they won the game 10-9. I'm 100% sure that that's what happened. So that's defense, right?
I mean, I'm not sure. That's one measurement of defense.
And the week before, the team they were playing only scored 3 points, right? And the week before that, the team they were playing only scored 17 points. And the week before that, they were
Oh,
playing.
so there should be
the
no.
week before that, they were playing the defending NFC champions.
And how many points did they give up?
So once again, the formula is play great defense and have an adequate offense. And so far, only 2 of the 4 games. I mean, I guess you can say they were okay the first game, but the 4th game, the offense wasn't there. It was inept. It's not Saleh's fault.
Not Saleh's fault. So all this explains how it's not Saleh's fault. Okay. If that big long soliloquy took you that long to get there, they lost to the Indianapolis Colts. So
they lost to the Denver Broncos.
Excuse me, they lost to the Denver Broncos. Is that not concerning in a rookie quarterback? Is that not concerning whatsoever?
Absolutely, it's concerning for the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, what are you guys doing over there? You only gave us 9 points, and then your last second drive, you come down and you miss a game-winning field goal. Can't put that on the coach or the defense.
You can't put that on the coach or the defense. Well, so what happened when they go to London and get mopped up by the Vikings? Is that a coach or the defense? Is that going to be a coach or defense issue then?
I mean, if they lose 12-9, it's going to be again on the offense, right?
Or if they lose 32-14 like they did the first game of the year. Like
that was the first game of the year against the defending NFC champions. Yeah, they haven't done that since then, right? I mean, I'm not going to say that the Vikings won't put up 25 because I think they probably are capable of doing that, but wouldn't be surprised if more than 20.
You writing hard for these Jets, boy. I tell you what. Find a friend that like you, like Cleveland likes the Jets. Because he's going hard for his boy Saleh and the Jets. I hear that. You guys hear it too. Andy Dalton, they don't get the win this past week. It has a glass slipper broken for Andy.
Not sure. I thought Cincinnati at home was one they could have got, and they didn't quite respond the way they did in his first start. So yeah. Maybe it was just that. Maybe just 2 consecutive weeks of playing NFL football at that age, like not quite the same. That first game you get out, you're spry and you're fresh, and they're like, oh wow, we are playing NFL football out here. So it could be just that, or hey, it could have just been the desperation of the Cincinnati Bengals to get on the board and not completely write this season over after week 4. So probably a combination of the two.
So I had the Eagles going back to the Eastern Conference Championship game or the NFC Championship game. And they've not looked like a championship team. They lose to the Buccaneers. In fact, they got that was another mauling, was them getting forced to walk the plank against the Buccaneers. What do you see is wrong with the Eagles?
No A.J. Brown, no cohesion. I feel like Jalen Hurts is regressing a tad bit. I think that maybe 2 years ago was probably peak performance of what we're going to see from him.
Oh, it only goes downhill from here?
I think so, even though he has certainly enough weapons, and that's another team that
wow.
And a lot of their top-notch skill position players, and they just haven't been performant or haven't been healthy. I mean, Devontae Smith has been in concussion protocol, and A.J. Brown has been absent, kind of, making the focal point of the offense Saquon Barkley and, Dallas Goedert over the top, in the middle. But, yeah, Jalen needs, probably a different voice. Thought it was going to be Kellen Moore. Not so much.
Oh, so you go to Kellen Moore, not the head coach?
Well, Sirianni is, frantic, just trying to, do anything to, make anything happen. Like right now, because he knows that, everything is on the line right now. But yeah, he's hitting the panic button, Stan Van Gundy style a little bit. But we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm surprised here, and I expected them to kind of, like I said, have a solid season, kind of a rebound season, because I thought experiencing what they experienced last season and not understanding that the team did not reach their full potential, that would just bring them back this year, and they'd be that much better. That was kind of my expectation of the Eagles going into the season, but apparently that's not going down. Does your coach beating? Does the coach beating your undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers? Does that give you any more faith or confidence in them? Or again, that's another backup quarterback. Joe Flacco comes in and winning ball games. Is this? I don't want to ask you who you credit, but does it give you more hope in the coach that they have a veteran quarterback who might be better than a rookie quarterback?
No, I don't think so much of that game.
Wait, you don't make too much of Flacco coming back and winning the game? You don't make too much of Richardson being in or out of the game?
I don't make too much of the fact that Joe Flacco is going to be able to lead this team to the playoffs if Anthony Richardson misses a significant amount of time. And I think that in the short sample set that we've seen in this season, Anthony Richardson was not going to lead them to the playoffs, even if he was healthy. So the Indianapolis Colts are not a playoff team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think a playoff team was a stretch, but I mean, you still don't just want to give up losses. You know what I mean? The Chiefs continuing their streak against the Chargers, just as expected, per usual, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not looking, like Super Bowl, form just yet, and losing. We're not sure how long they're going to lose Shira Ice for, so that's gonna be a long. Actually, we don't know how long, but that could potentially be detrimental.
Could potentially be a season ender, and that game showed us that Patrick Mahomes ain't great at everything. Like, why was he in there trying to make a tackle either anyway? Like, with his back turned, kind of throwing his shoulder somewhere where the dude wasn't even there. Like, he was doing too much. Considering what some of these guys do when they throw an interception. You follow what I'm saying?
For sure. I mean, competitor. I mean, two-time Super Bowl champion, league MVP, trying to protect his brand.
I mean, he came out of it. Good thing he came out of it okay, but he just took out his own guy. I mean, and it's hard to be mad when the guy, you look at who hit you. Oh, it's your quarterback. Your quarterback who led you to the championship last year. Like, it's hard to be mad at that, right? So yeah, it's gonna hurt. And should they be in the Davante Adams sweepstakes?
At least for the season, I don't think that they have any long-term aspirations of signing someone to a contract of that magnitude. They didn't want to do it with Tyreek previously. I don't want to say they think it's plug and play over there, but I think they think it's more Mahomes than the targets that Mahomes throws to. So the question becomes, are the Raiders silly enough to trade Davante Adams to the Kansas City Chiefs, which would almost guarantee another Super Bowl?
Wait, so you just made a comment. You said it's Mahomes or the guys that Mahomes is throwing to. Like, you don't know. You're not sure.
No, I said the Kansas City Chiefs have already made that decision that it's Mahomes and not the guys that he's throwing to, which is why Tyreek Hill is not a Kansas City Chief anymore.
Right. Yeah. So let me put this up. Good point. I don't know. I think that would be a good fix. I really would like to see him with the Davante Adams. We're talking about the sweepstakes. I really want to see him playing with Baltimore. And again, that would address some of the concerns that we all have about your quarterback, Jackson. We all have some concerns about that and what he could do. But fans are probably going to be more concerned with the smackdown that I put on Cleveland again this week in regards to our pick segment, fans. So here we go. Let's review our pick segment here. Can you see what I'm looking at, Cleveland?
I cannot, Cameron.
Okay. You should be now. Here you go. Last week, Cleveland for some reason thought the Giants were going to beat the Cowboys. We also disagreed on the Bears and the Rams. The Bears did win that game. What else? I had Cincy over Carolina, and he'd been telling me how terrible Bryce Young was. And once he saw Andy Dalton get in there, the Red Rocket, you thought the Red Rifle was going to lead him to some more victories?
For sure, at home against a team that shunned him previously. Yeah, there was a little bit of a revenge factor going on there.
Well, you were wrong. We both had the Texans, the Commanders.
Yeah, we can't see those picks, Cam.
You can't see them?
There we go.
Well, you think I'm lying to you?
No, I was just saying that we couldn't see them. It's all.
Our next picks, we had the Texans. We agreed on the Texans, Washington, the Niners, Raiders, KC, Buffalo, Tennessee. I had Detroit winning that game. Clearly, you had Seattle winning that game. What did you see from Detroit? And are you encouraged or discouraged by the Seahawks getting kind of, I want to say pummeled, but it wasn't quite a pummeling. But the Detroit played good. What's your thoughts on Detroit and their ceiling? And how about the Seahawks?
I was encouraged by the fact that the Seahawks, didn't go out without a fight. It was going to be an uphill battle from the beginning. Again, playing the game without 6 starters on defense. Then they went down 14-0 just so quickly, but they continued to try and make big plays. The return of Kenneth Walker was significant, establishing the run, kind of giving them balance. Even late within, into the third quarter, it was still a 1-score game, but Detroit just played almost flawlessly on offense and was able to really exploit.
The quarterback was flawless. He was 18 for 18. That was flawless.
Yeah, and they were able to take advantage of and exploit the absence of all the players not playing on the starters not playing on the defensive line, and established the run from the beginning and stayed committed to it, and pretty much rammed it down their throats. They looked as good as they can look, and the Seahawks looked a little bit out of position at times, but just goes to show that the depth isn't quite there just yet. But if the starters are in there, it's probably a much, much different game, I felt.
So tell me your thoughts on the Seahawks. Again, after taking that loss to the Lions, I mean, is this something you can recover? Are you excited about the consistency? Are you see, because that offense, I'll be honest with you, until they did that flea flicker late in the second quarter, like I was like, this offense it stinks because they weren't being aggressive, they weren't moving the ball, they had no kind of rhythm to them until that little flea flicker they ran for the first down. I might add, not for a touchdown, for a first down. What was your thoughts on when you saw that flea flicker?
I thought it was innovative, certainly kind of catching the Lions off guard, and, kind of one of those things that kind of, one of those momentum builders. I thought it was definitely deflating when DK Metcalf lost the fumble there in the first quarter, kind of trying to match what the Lions were doing initially. But no, I'm not discouraged. I liked the fight that they showed, given how decimated they were on defense. And I thought the offense looked just fine. I mean, I thought it looked as good as it could look, given the set of circumstances and the fact that they were, playing from a big deficit to start the game, and kind of, were kind of behind the 8 ball, but, fought their way back, I thought.
Okay, I mean we'll take that. We'll take that. Tell me what you thought about the. Are we done with your guy, Mister Sunshine, Mister Surfer guy down in Jacksonville? Are we done with him?
No. Way too much money to be done with him. They're probably done with the coach here pretty shortly. I think maybe by
Super Bowl winning coach who won a Super Bowl not less than 10 years ago.
yes, we're done. We're done with Coach Peterson, and we're gonna have to move on to someone newer and more innovative.
Ooh, I mean, you going right for Peterson?
Not we, but they, I should say.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you calling him they because you keep wanting to throw. Oh, he beat Herbert in the playoffs. What has Herbert done?
He did, and Herbert still hasn't won a playoff game.
Okay, but what does this dude look like? He look like straight Kako right now. He ain't going to the playoffs this year.
Is Justin Herbert going to the playoffs this year? I mean, is that the comparison?
No, it's not a comparison, but I was just throwing it out there that this guy you're talking to is not likely to be going to the playoffs.
Not at all. They have no. I would say zero chance of making the playoffs this year.
Deshaun Watson showed some little heart and grit out there against the Raiders. Did you see any of that game?
A little bit of it. He shows that glimpses of that here and there, but they're just too few and far between to really take Deshaun Watson very seriously.
Ooh, so you can't even take him seriously.
No.
Oh, so he washed in your book. Don't even knock on your door.
No.
I mean, there might be some benefits to kicking it with Deshaun. There might be some benefits.
Not the way he gets down.
Oh, I mean,
there's all kinds of repercussions and ramifications to that.
So the Chiefs roll, man. Do the Chiefs? Do you see 3-point in them right now or no?
Depends on the receiver situation. If Rashee Rice is out for a long period of time, I think it'll be hard. If they don't trade for your guy Devontae, which I can't believe that the Raiders would even allow that to happen. And they already don't have Pacheco for an extended amount of time, so I think it'll be hard.
So, fans, did you guys see the list there? I got 11 of the 16 games correct. Cleveland only got 9 of them correct. I added additional point with my picks against the spread. I did only get 1 correct, but Cleveland wasn't great as all. So that's how that goes. We tally up both scores. I still win the week. Fans, and this is just to kind of rebound from last week, so the numbers are low. And then against our confidence picks, again, shows my supremacy in predicting games. I had Tennessee. No, not sure. That should be a point right there. Tennessee did win. That should be a point right there. Tennessee beat the Dolphins. Cleveland tried to jip me. I didn't see that. I just saw that, but I get my point back. I had the Tennessee, the Bengals, Houston, KC, and Detroit. All my teams won, Cleveland, and everybody won, but the Jets for you, huh?
Correct.
I mean, Detroit again ended it with a big bang for me. That wasn't even a worry game right there. So Detroit coming through. Here are our picks for next week, Cleveland. I got those too, man. I got those too. We can run through those too. Can you see those okay?
The first 8, yes, or first 9.
Okay. Well, I got coming in this week. What games do we disagree on? We both have Atlanta, Minnesota, Chicago. I have Baltimore beating the Bengals. You got the Bengals. Now, what is it about Joe? You think Joe and that defense that you think they can beat the Ravens?
I'm not particularly confident about the defense. I think that the Baltimore Ravens struggle with having too much success. They get a little bit too complacent, kind of the game following a big victory. They're on the road, and I think that if Burrow and Chase can hook up, and put the Baltimore Ravens in, must pass situations, they have a good chance to win that one.
Okay, wow. I'm impressed. You went to I'm impressed. You went to the coaching angle of what the Ravens, how the Ravens can win. I like Joe Burrow. I just don't think they have enough defensively to stop what's going on offensively. So whether it's your guy Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson, Lamar tends to have big games against the Bengals. So I see that continuing in this week. So that we disagree on that one. I got Miami over New England. If Miami -1. I think I took that in the point spread too. I had to take that. I got Miami over New England playing Brissett. I mean, if we can't get a better quarterback showing than what Brissett puts out there, I mean, somebody really needs to lose their job, Cleveland. I'm serious. What's your thoughts on that matchup?
Tough game on the road. Dolphins, I don't think have figured out exactly what they want to do or what their offensive identity is going to be going forward. I think that's a problem. If the New England Patriots are able to run the ball like they have been the first couple of weeks of the season, they will eat up time of possession and not give the Miami Dolphins as many opportunities as they usually like. And even if they have additional opportunities, they have suspect quarterback play.
Oh, look at you! You cold, man. You cold. You sure is cold, bro. Browns and Commanders. Do you believe Jaden Daniels is there, or we just seen a couple admirations in the past, or from aberrations from what he actually can do and what his numbers will actually look like? What's your thoughts on Jaden Daniels? Because I know we can't expect him to be 80% passing, dog. Like 70% is impressive. 75% is damn good. 80% passing, like that's what he is on the season. Like Cleveland, have you seen something like this before?
No, I mean he's doing that against teams that aren't particularly good. Other than this,
here you go, man.
Actually, they have not beat a team with a record just yet. But and I think that I don't think that the performance that he's put on so far is sustainable. But I don't think the regression is going to be so deep that he can't beat the Browns.
I mean, Cleveland, so you're saying it's all because he played and it's not who he is that he's doing what he's doing.
I think it's a combination of the two, but I think because of who he's done,
not because of his skill set,
he has him just a tad bit. I think it's a combination of the two. But again, who has he beaten? The Giants, the Cardinals, and
Cleveland,
and the Bengals.
Cleveland in 4 starts. In 4 starts, the Arizona Cardinals.
Is the part where you stat me to death again?
No. I just want to kind of put it into perspective for you, because I hear you just poo-pooing everything this young kid has done. How you can't poo-poo Cleveland?
I already said I came around to I was wrong about him. I started the show with that.
Cleveland. Nobody has been this high. He's 82% passing, Cleveland.
So you are statting me to death. Okay.
I was just trying to point something out to you, man. I don't think you're recognizing all these quarterbacks. Name your greatest quarterback ever. Name the top 2 greatest quarterbacks ever, and don't say Doug Williams and Steve McNair. Just name 2 great quarterbacks.
And Tom Brady.
They didn't do this. They didn't do what he's doing right now. This is uncharted territory, Cleveland. They didn't go 80% for 4 games, Cleveland, as a rookie. So I'm just kind of, do I want to say he's going to be Dan Marino? Is he going to beat Tom Brady? I highly doubt it. However, he is doing something that none of them have done. So you got to recognize what he's doing, man. You got to give the kid some more credit, man. You come around, but yeah, you're still hesitant because you didn't have him. You picked. You hesitant to give him any kind of recognition, any love. You can't do that, bro. You can't do that, man. So give Jaden Daniels some love for what he's doing. And can the Colts? I mean, is it going to be Flacco against your boy Trevor? I got Flacco. You got Houston bouncing back for a win over the Bills. I do have Houston at Houston too. What that's going to be a good game. I mean, that's a good challenge for the Texans, isn't it?
It certainly is. The Buffalo Bills at their highest and best use are a very difficult team to deal with, but I think it really depends on the health of Joe Mixon. A healthy Joe Mixon, I think they win this game fairly handily. Without him, it will be a challenge. But I think they can still get it either way.
You seen they win the game handily, and the Bills just got pummeled the way they did. I mean, they're both teams coming off a loss, actually. That's going to be a really good game.
The Texans won their game. They beat Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah, they had a cupcake last week. The Broncos and the Raiders, that's historically a decent game. I have the Raiders being able to overcome that win. I mean, what do you see? Oh, now you're a Bo Nix fan? Is that what's going on?
Not at all. I see the Raiders on the road. I see the Devontae Adams thing being a tremendous distraction to the team. I see that quarterback that they have has been extremely inadequate, so much so that Antonio Pierce won't even endorse him, only day to day that he's a starter, week to week. So, like today he's a starter. Tomorrow, you gotta ask me again tomorrow. I don't know. So when you don't have that type of confidence in your starting quarterback, the team feeds off of that. And Antonio Pierce is a very transparent type of coach. So even in practice, he'll kind of let you know by his body language and the way he looks at you whether he likes you or not. And clearly he does not like that quarterback. And clearly the circus of Devontae Adams, is he going to be a Raider going forward or not, I think it's more than they can overcome on the road. I have no confidence in Bo Nix, but I have even less confidence in the dysfunction that's going on with the Raiders right now.
Wow, that's crazy. The dysfunction with the Raiders, can they let and that's what I'm saying. Devontae is a professional. He's going to be a professional all the way up until they trade him. And I think even after that, he's going to only have good things to say about the Raiders. But like you asked earlier, what is his end goal? Because that depends on kind of what teams really should his agent be talking to. But that's information that we're not privy to right now. We agree on the 49ers over the Cardinals, Green Bay beating the Rams, the Seahawks over the Giants. You got better win that game and look good doing it. We disagree. I got Dallas over Pittsburgh. Why do you have Pittsburgh over Dallas?
The game is at home. I think that Dallas, without two stars on defense, Micah Parsons and Lawrence, will struggle to stop the run. And I think that Justin Fields is the type of quarterback that can kind of exploit what they're not good at. I think it'll just be a big game for them.
I think the Cowboys, they need to win some games. I mean, they got a lot of pressure. Your guy has a lot of pressure on their shoulders. They need to win some games. I think I'm banking on them to scheme up a win against one of the toughest defenses in the league, and we'll see what happens there. For our picks against the spread, I got Minnesota, Houston, and Dallas, as I mentioned. In Cleveland, you have Washington, Minnesota, and San Francisco. Why are you confident? Here you go. You want to talk bad about Jalen, or because I'm talking about Jalen, he refused to acknowledge his greatness? But you're going to take him in your points against the spread. Why is that?
Because I think that they can beat the Cleveland Browns at home by a little bit more than a field goal.
Simply put, no logic into it. That you don't want to explain your disdain for the young rookie right now, huh?
I don't have any disdain for the young rookie, Cameron. I said he's playing well, it has exceeded my expectations. I just said that statistically, all the things that you were throwing out are cool, except for he hasn't played a team with a winning record yet, or beaten a team with a winning record yet. That's all I was saying. But yeah, I think he can beat the Cleveland Browns by a little bit more than a field goal. Maybe not quite a touchdown, but a little bit more than a field goal.
Our confidence picks, Cleveland. I got Minnesota, Dallas, Seattle, KC, and San Fran. We agree with San Fran, we agree with KC, and we agree with Seattle. We just have them in different places. But here this kid goes again, taking shots at Jaden Daniels, and then has him high up on his confidence pick. So I guess he does recognize fans what's going on, at least from a distance. Kimbe, man, or excuse me, Cleveland. We lost to Kimbe Mutombo, Mount Mutombo, as most people know him as. What's your lasting memory of Dikembe Mutombo?
Oh man, it will always be, I'm a Seattleite here. So when he played for the Denver Nuggets and overcame a 0-2 deficit against the number one team in the Western Conference to win a first round playoff series, the first time 8 seed had ever beaten a 1 seed.
Yeah, him holding the ball on the ground over his head. I mean, that's gotta be, I guess, the lasting image of I have of Dikembe. But we already know about Philip Throckford's. He being in the Hall of Fame. What is Dikembe? 3-time block champion. Dikembe, I know you don't like stats, Cleveland, but Dikembe has a lot of numbers, man, that you might not have paid attention to. 2-time rebound champion, 3-time All-Star, 6-time All-Defense, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 91-92 rookie, Cleveland. Was Dikembe, again, he has a lot of greatness off the court, right? But was Dikembe better than Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning?
No.
Neither one?
It's clearly he wasn't better than Patrick Ewing, and I don't think he was really better than Alonzo Mourning. No.
He didn't win a championship in college. Did Alonzo win one in college?
No.
So we can't hold that against him. I mean,
first and foremost, I mean, he was very one-sided. I mean, he was dominant on the defensive side of the
not a score.
Not at all.
I mean, I was going to ask you, what did Pat do that he didn't?
Well, Pat's one of the 50 greatest players that's ever played basketball and an Olympic, gold medalist, and has played in the finals twice.
Okay, I didn't say was he better than Hakeem. I asked, was he better than Patrick Ewing?
Right. I know you were going with a Georgetown alumni, and A, Patrick's the only center to win a championship at Georgetown. B, he had a much better professional career. And C, he could play on the offensive side of the court, which Dikembe couldn't do.
Yeah, okay. Like I say, his humanitarian efforts are unmatched. And yeah, I was curious as to whether you how you see him standing in those giants that were formerly Georgetown Hoyas. But right up the road from Georgetown, Cleveland, the Knicks traded for Karl Anthony Towns, sent them Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to the Knicks, or excuse me, to the Timberwolves, essentially breaking up the Nova Knicks. So the Nova Knicks no more, as I send DiVincenzo and Randle to the Timberwolves. Talk about this trade from the Knicks perspective, and then if you would from the Timberwolves perspective.
From the Knicks perspective, I think that they really felt that they needed to add more scoring. Putting all your eggs in the Mikal Bridges basket was a little bit questionable. And I think that this is a counter move to what the 76ers did, adding Paul George to the mix, was kind of put them over the top. And the Knicks just had to counter. I think that the Knicks felt like they weren't going to go very far with Julius. They saw how far they went without him in the playoffs. And so to add more scoring, I think is a benefit to them. On the Timberwolves side, I think that they realized that Edwards didn't really have a whole lot of respect for Cat, and he wasn't the player that was going to get them over the top. And so, worst case scenario, they have Julius for a year or two and, move on from that. But that Karl Anthony contract is going to kick in here pretty quickly. And I just feel like they thought that he was overvalued. So I don't think they felt they had anything to lose by shaking it up. And hey, bring DiVincenzo in here as well. He's a champion. See what he can bring to it.
So now DiVincenzo is going to be the one getting blamed for holding him back. Do you think DiVincenzo and Julius Randle is going to be a good fit for the Minnesota Timberwolves?
I have no idea. Couldn't be bad though. Couldn't be. I mean, they didn't lose anything losing Karl Anthony Towns.
Their size is that size is it. But Julius Randle, 19 and 10, 19 and 9. Like, you got to find a place for that guy. The only thing is he can't play center. But I think it's hard to say. I would have thought they would get more for Karl Anthony Towns. But it's hard to say I wouldn't trade him because I didn't think he was a good fit for that team. I think when you say they don't lose much, because that means they only got Rudy Gobert, and then he wasn't pounding the boards like that anyway. So, but he was one of the top 5 centers in the league. I would have thought they could have got more for him than they actually got. But Julius Randle, I understand why the Knicks did it. The Knicks get rid of Julius Randle. They don't want to bring him back into the team after they've been successful. So that kind of was addition by subtraction, if you will. And now, I don't see how you make room for or do not make room for Randle on the Timberwolves. I don't see how you do not make room for him. DiVincenzo, he's going to be caught in a logjam because they have that rookie that they drafted. If Conley decides to come back, he's obviously going to start and get some minutes. The rookie is going to get some points. Nobody's playing over Anthony Edwards, so now there's kind of a logjam in the guard position for Minnesota. I don't know what do you think about that logjam there?
They'll work it out. If they have to trade someone else to kind of make room, they will. But right now, like you said, the one guy's a rookie, and he'll learn from DiVincenzo.
All right, Cleveland. We talked about, or I don't know that we talked about it, but you heard one of the things that came out through media day this week is that Joel Embiid said he lost 25 to 30 pounds to be ready and be healthy for the playoffs for the New York Knicks. Is that good thinking? Do you think he can be there?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I didn't hear that previously. This is the first time hearing of it. I don't know if him losing a bunch of weight is.
It doesn't sound like you have any faith in that whatsoever. You didn't have to hear it.
I think it's kind of like the Joker in that respect. Like, you can lose some weight, but I think there's like a happy medium where you don't have to lose like so much weight that you're not physical anymore and that you're too thin and can't absorb the punishment in the same way, and he's a banger. So the 25-30, but he's also a big guy. So maybe I'm reading too much into this, but just hearing the news, for the first time, I'm like, well, not skeptical, but maybe 15 pounds I would have been cool with. Like 35 pounds, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight. We'll see how effective he can be, because he needs to stick around, and I mean that'll be a testament him really going out of his way to do something. Maybe some of the guys, the workout the guys did with him in for the Olympics, he got to see how other guys work, other guys practice, other guys get in shape. Maybe that's kind of helped him as well. What do you think about your guy LeBron James saying it's unfair to have expectations of this Laker team?
You hate to hear it from the king, right? Like it's unfair to have expectations. I mean, the expectation is always a championship. That's what we're doing out here. So that's what everything's all about. And you know what you signed up for. You know what the purple and gold is all about. So that's just having a great year, and being competitive is not what's up, man.
Get his son some run. Like we at the Y. Hey, sub in, let him get some running. What do you mean? No, that's what
no, that's exactly what you're saying. That's kind of like the mindset that he's kind of putting out there. Maybe he just doesn't want to put too much pressure on everybody. I don't know, but no, when you have LeBron, AD, and other pieces around him, the goal is a championship. It's always a championship. So to not put expectations is just saying that you don't believe in the team. It gives a very questionable narrative to what's going on.
Well, maybe he recognizes that the West is going to be tough. The West is going to be really tough. They already got OKC getting stronger when they picked up Hartenstein. Minnesota is going to be strong. They just got a taste of what the championship basketball is like. You expect them to bounce back and be right back. There's still the Denver Nuggets, right, left out there. Who else you got?
Mavericks picked up Klay Thompson in the offseason.
The Mavericks picked up Klay Thompson. So we're 4 teams. That's the top 4 teams in the Western Conference, right? Then you're gonna get to the guys, Cleveland. I told you last year, and again, you guys like to laugh at me, like I don't know what the heck I'll be talking about. But I told you, on talent alone, the Houston Rockets could get to the NBA playoffs. At the end of the season, they're 2 games out of the playoffs. Did those guys grow?
So no, they didn't get into the playoffs?
No, I told you. No, they didn't get in the playoffs, but they were 2 games out of the playoffs. So now that they have a year to mesh, a year to come together, a year to understand who they're playing with and understand what the expectations are from the head coach, et cetera, et cetera. The head coach just kind of tightened the reins just a little bit more. Let them know, hey, we're serious about this. We show we can improve. We're serious about improving. They have the talent, and they remind me of a young team, but this young team they remind me of the young team from a few years ago, the Sacramento Kings. But the Sacramento Kings did actually make it to the Western Conference Finals when I brought them up years ago, having the best record in the league, and asked you months after months after months if you believe in the Sacramento Kings.
They made it to the Western Conference Finals. When was that?
When they played Steph Curry. Wasn't that the Western Conference Finals?
That was the first round, bro.
No, it wasn't the first round, man. Cut it out. When they had the best record in the NBA?
It's the first round. They have not been to the Western Conference Finals since Chris Webber and Vlade Divac and Peja Stojakovic and Doug Christie and Bobby Jackson and Mike Bibby. Scott Pollard.
Where did they go that was the first round when they played the Warriors? So they got okay. So with that being said, since the Sacramento Kings have not been to the Western Conference Finals since they had C. Webb and Peja Stojakovic, which is what you're telling me. Does DeMar DeRozan get him to the Western Conference Finals?
No.
What are you talking about? DeMar is a 26 point per game getter. I know how you like those scores. DeMar DeRozan is the modern day Vinnie Johnson and can get you points from anywhere on the court. What don't you like about DeMar's game?
There's nothing that I don't like about DeMar DeRozan's game. It's I don't want to say it's flawless, but it's fantastic. He has one of the best mid-range games in the NBA. However, like you said previously, they play in the Western Conference, and that addition is not enough to get them over the hump. It's not enough to. It may be enough to get them into the playoffs. It's not enough to get them into the second round.
Are you crazy? They were in the second round last year. Where DeMar? Well, no, not DeMar. I was thinking Cleveland. Excuse me. DeMar DeRozan playing off of De'Aaron Fox and Keegan Murray. You don't think that's going to elevate De'Aaron Fox's game? Now he can speed to the rim and kick it off to somebody who can get him. He feel comfortable getting them 2 points. And Murray with his game, with his development. Don't forget they also have Sabonis, Cleveland. You forgetting they got Sabonis down there, and they got Malik Monk coming off the bench. Oh, you forgot about Malik Monk. Once you took off that purple and gold, you forgot about him.
I haven't forgotten about any of those guys, and I do think that the Sacramento Kings will be competitive. I think that they will play smooth and fluid under Mike Brown, and they may even get to. Yeah, I don't want. Let's just throw a number out there. They may even get to 50 wins, but the way that their roster is currently constructed, Sabonis is their best player. And that's not good enough to get out of the second round of the Western Conference.
Well, it's not until he does it. I mean, you've always had questions about Sabonis and his toughness and against different size and lengthy players. Well, that's a weakness he has, but at some point he has to learn to overcome that. Man, he's made it this long in the NBA. He's learned that adjustments are needed.
So what if he can't overcome it? It has nothing to do with his skill set and his ability. I mean, I think that he has maximized his skills, but it's just the other players are better.
Ooh, there's not another notch for Sabonis? No. Well, how is he the best player if there's not another notch for him?
That's unfortunate for the Kings. He's still their best player, but
De'Aaron Fox is their best player. De'Aaron Fox is their best player. I was just throwing that out there to say, Howard, he's there. How is he not a playoff team if he's the best guy? The Sacramento Kings, again, Mike Brown is right there at that chopping point too, where in his career where he has to kind of get it done or keep moving on. So he has some added motivation to coach these guys up. And then I think this team is young and has enough saltiness on their shoulders to kind of do some things. So I'm looking forward to the Sacramento Kings kind of pulling it together. Using DeMar DeRozan, is his career hurt by the fact that the Toronto Raptors win the championship after they trade him for Kawhi?
No, I mean, because it was Kawhi Leonard that they traded him for. I think his career is hurt by the fact he was never a Los Angeles Laker. I think that's
here we go.
I think that's really the whole resume and his legacy going forward.
If that was the case, he would have signed up for the Lakers last year.
No, I mean there were some things that went down with the Russell Westbrook trade. I believe it was previously a done deal, and some things kind of transpired, which made them go in a different direction. And then this last off free agency period, they just didn't have enough money to give it to him. So he should have been a Laker though.
Yeah, like Kevin Durant should have been a Laker, like Chris Webber should have been a Laker, like Julius Dr. Irving should have been a Laker. You guys are starting to sound ridiculous like these New York Knicks fans. Cleveland, I want to ask you, what are your initial thoughts? Well, yeah, go ahead. What are your initial thoughts for this upcoming season? I got 6 thoughts that when I just write down on a piece of paper, kind of what I'm looking for this season. What are you looking forward to this NBA season? We can get into predictions over the next couple of weeks, but just generally, what are you looking forward to in the NBA this year?
I'm looking forward to see if the Boston Celtics are satisfied with what they accomplished, or if there's a little bit of hunger to kind of repeat as champions. I'm interested to see kind of what the Miami Heat are going to show out there. I'm interested to see what Paulo is going to do. Can he take the leap to get to the second round? I'm interested to see what DeJounte Murray looks like with Brandon Ingram and Zion, if he can get them kind of into that tier right below the 4 teams aforementioned. I'm looking to see if Bradley Beal and KD have anything left in the tank. I did notice in one of those Olympic games that Kevin Durant can no longer jump off the ground, which I thought was kind of weird, but he is getting a little bit older. And lastly, I'm interested to see how long, even though he signed the extension, how long Steph Curry wants to stay in Golden State with a team that has no chance of making the playoffs.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't have some of those things. I didn't have on my list. I have can the hunter or can the Timberwolves handle being hunted? Can the Thunder and the Timberwolves handle being hunted? That's kind of one of the big things I want to look at. And the Knicks trade, not the Knicks trade in per se. I mean, I think this question still remains with or without that trade, but certainly with the trade, I want to see if that trade makes the Knicks better. But can the Knicks and the Sixers actually challenge the Celtics? So kind of like you say, you want to see if they're serious about doubling back. I want to see if these guys can stand up and challenge these guys, the Knicks and the Sixers, with their new acquisitions, with the Knicks coming off of their momentum from last year, the Sixers with getting Paul George and Embiid coming off an Olympic championship. Maxey looked like he cut his hair. He ready for a new start. And then Paul George with the new jersey on again. Like, what does he bring? He's back in the Eastern Conference. What can he bring there? What can he do there? That's something I want to see. The return of Ja Morant. Yeah, that's one of my things. That was my next thing, in fact. What up, SB? Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to see. What would the Grizzlies look like? They actually got the big man Cleveland didn't like. And I've actually heard some people pick him for Rookie of the Year. What do you think?
I never said I didn't like Zach Edey. I said I had a lot more respect for his game after his senior year.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was before his senior year that Cleveland said he didn't like him because he made that clear, fans. But some people picked him to be Rookie of the Year for the Grizzlies. Let's see how that goes. So yeah, right on cue, SB. I wanted to see what the Grizzlies look like this season. I have to say it. I can't get away from it. But there's a new dome being built in Inglewood. Well, it's built now in Inglewood, California, that's housing the Los Angeles Clippers. I want to see what these new Clippers look like. Well, what they got. I mean, I want to see is Ty Lue going to get a heart attack again with this team that he's coaching. Like, I don't know. I wish the best for my man, but we know what happened when he saw the writing on the wall in Cleveland. You know, he got those medical conditions that you just can't trace, right? I want to see what the Clippers are able to do. And then, is this a year for the Rockets or the Kings? I think, as I mentioned, I think the Kings are in position to do something, at least get past it to the second round. How long before Draymond?
Oh, and one last thing, Cameron. I am curious to see how CP3 impacts not only Victor's development, but the development of the young point guard from.
Oh, yeah, good point. That is a good point.
Castle. So
that is a good point there.
With the mentoring and kind of like his player coach mentality, how
I mean,
that.
I think we'll see the most of that. That's a great point. We'll see the most of that come second half of the season. And yeah, can CP3, is he a force multiplier? Can he multiply those guys? I mean, we've seen it done. We've seen it happen with Phoenix. Like Phoenix they went to the finals that year. They were much better than most teams that most people had anticipated, and that was only because of the addition of CP3. Now you don't like to give that guy credit because he don't have no rings, but if he turns around and makes this a play, if they get to the playoffs, sneak into the playoffs next season, does your obviously Victor's going to be awesome. So we can't say CP3 or Victor is awesome because of CP3. We can say he gets better. And I think you could add some points and certainly some rebounds to his numbers with Chris Paul there, because he's going to know how to he's going to learn how to play that game, right? The NBA game from a vet. So would you give CP3 some credit or?
Some.
See, he's going to be if Cleveland.
CP3 has had way too many opportunities, bro.
If listen, if they were to make the playoffs next year, again, Victor's going to have to be awesome. So that goes without saying. He's going to have one of those years where he's best.
That ship has sailed. Okay.
What are you talking about? That ship has sailed. He doesn't get any credit for doing.
Chris has gotten all the flowers that he can get.
See, that's your problem right there. You're just saying he has enough flowers, period. That's what you're just saying.
The only thing that elevated him to the next tier is to win a championship, and that's not something that he's going to do in San Antonio. So, no.
Okay, if he's not going to win a championship, and I agree with you, this is Spurs, I mean, we should go put $15 on it, on the Spurs, because that would pay out pretty good, right? If we put $15 on the Spurs to win the championship and they actually did it, that
would pay out tremendously. Yes.
Yeah, but again, we're not gonna waste the money for the trip to Vegas and put the money down on the Spurs. However, understanding that, can't coaching up Victor Wembanyama, can't they be the next best thing?
No. He's already played with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Griffin and JJ Redick. He's already played with James Harden. He's already played with Devin Booker. He's already played with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. No. He's had multiple opportunities and never done anything.
I'm not really concerned with Draymond, but that is a good question. I mean,
I'm so sorry. It's 10 games. It's 10 games. The over-under is 10.
The over-under is 10. This was a great one. I didn't even consider the Bucks. When I mentioned the top of the Eastern Conference.
I like that question.
Yeah, I only said
that he will get fired.
Ooh. He liked it, so you just opened the door for him to take more shots at Doc. That's all the reason, SB. That's the only reason he liked to comment. You just open the door for him to take more shots at Doc. That was it. And you see how he didn't hesitate to answer the question. That's cool. I didn't even consider the Bucks though. So obviously you don't think Doc's is their second year. Now he's been with the team a full season, a full off season. He got a chance to invite the guys over to talk to them over dinner, to kind of, get to know how they're feeling and to get to know their families, those that have them, etc. You don't think now how this union has improved over this last 360 days?
Man, the way he was moaning and crying in his press conference, throwing everybody under the bus. Oh, man, no, that ain't fixable. And they didn't get a point guard.
Well, they have Dame Lillard. Why did they go get a point guard if they got Dame Lillard?
They had Drew. They didn't realize how important he was.
And
they haven't replaced him. He's Bobby Portis and Chris Middleton running around there, and they're older than they were last year.
Ooh. But it ain't Doc though. You taking shots at? It's the way the team is.
Oh, for crying out loud! Doc ain't gonna do nothing, man. But
see,
but yell and scream, and it's not my fault.
Oh wow, taking shots at Doc.
We're just gonna play better. No.
I mean, so Giannis is just going to be out there balling out with a bunch of bums.
No, Dame's not a bum. Dame can shoot from 40 feet out. So, if they can
have we seen the best of Dame though? Be honest.
Are Dame's best years behind him? For sure. Is Dame still here for 25 points a game? Yeah.
We might have seen the best.
We've definitely seen the best, but that doesn't mean that he's still not great.
No, SB. The Lakers helped the validity of this season.
Not the validity of it, for crying out loud. They gave it credibility by winning.
Yeah, and they go with the Lakers. Prediction. I'm not predicting MVP. I'm not predicting defensive player of the year. I'm not predicting the coach of the year. I'm not predicting the NBA finals right now. I will predict on October the 2nd, 2024, the Los Angeles Lakers will win their second in-season tournament in a row. They will win it. They're going to be the only team to win, to have won the in-season tournament. People like Cleveland are going to be like, this should be the Lakers invitational. Watch what I tell you. The Lakers will win the NBA in-season tournament. Mark it down, fans. Mark it down on August 2nd at 8:56 Pacific Standard Time. Cleveland, what's your thoughts on that? You agree or disagree?
It's far too early for me to agree or disagree on that. And I don't recall how the seedings and all the pairings go. But, they have a legitimate chance to.
It's some hocus pocus. It's a lot of hocus pocus.
Repeat as
every Friday night until November. There's a lot of hocus pocus on it. But the Lakers will watch what I tell you. So to answer your question, is they gave it a lot of credibility, as Cleveland mentioned. They brought it to the forefront, and they're going to hang another banner. They will hang another banner in crypto. But when did they hang that banner? They couldn't wait to get that banner up. They're going to hang it by March the 5th. By training deadline, they're going to have that banner up.
Speaking of banners, Cameron, how much money did they save in the Intuit Dome by not having to cover up all the banners they used to hang in the crib house before every game? I believe it was like 4 hours.
I don't know how we talking about the Lakers hanging there.
Well, you're talking about banners in LA. I mean, I'm just saying the Intuit Dome has none, right? No banners, right?
They got a bunch of jerseys from around Los Angeles County that they hung up, high school jerseys that they hung up to make it a more community involvement thing. So not isolate their own individual talents.
So they have like Baron Davis, his high school jerseys. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
that's what they're hanging up.
That's right.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. It might be pretty dope. From all I hear, it's pretty dope. I'm so
sorry to cut you off. Those aren't championship jerseys, Cameron. Those aren't retired jerseys, Cameron. Those aren't Hall of Fame jerseys, Cameron. They meant some high school jerseys from some players that played in the NBA that are from Los Angeles. Those aren't real banners, homie. And I'm so sorry that you've been pulled into that false sense of security, thinking that really means something, man.
This guy, out of nowhere, clear blue, he just wants to start taking shots at Steve Ballmer. What are you doing over there?
Tell me something about some high school jerseys. Crying out loud, man. About Kobe Bryant and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson and James Worthy.
That's right, SB. He knew where I was going. He knew I was gonna talk about that futility that the Lakers have seen in the recent playoffs, in the recent players. He didn't want to talk about that.
So they did make the playoffs last year, as well as the Clippers. How they do?
I mean, the Clippers have faced a couple injuries. I'm not sure if you're familiar about that.
Well, so did the Lakers. Injuries is part of the game.
Boy, oh boy! I don't know. Somehow he snuck the Clippers in there and started taking shots at my Clippers. I don't get it. Are you catching in the WNBA playoffs?
I have been catching a little bit of it. It's getting it's getting a little hectic out there, and that Liberty Aces series, kind of right out the, not right out the chute, but second round. It's a tough one.
Yeah, you gotta tune in and watch some. That's some of the best basketball available right now. The WNBA touts a 47% jump in attendance, over 2 million fans, 2.3 million fans to be exact, in attendance this season. That's a 48% jump, Cleveland. Do you believe it? Are they cooking the books on you?
No. They have no reason to inflate WNBA attendance numbers.
Okay, so is the cause Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, or is it just the girls that better? That's a single throttle. The biggest motivator or determination is Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, or is it just Caitlin Clark?
It is a combination of the two. It's primarily Caitlin Clark, but the Angel Reese Caitlin rivalry had a little bit, was an added incentive, but it's mostly Caitlin.
Can the Aces come back against the Liberty?
I don't think so, man. Sabrina and Stewie, that's a lot of stopping right there.
I mean, Stewie and Wilson is supposed to be a wash. And the rest of where's Casey Plum? Can she come back and have a big game? Get him over the hump?
Possible, but I mean, it's a lot of doing.
The WNBA had an expansion. You heard about the team in Portland? Well, Northern California, excuse me, the Golden State team. They're gonna have a fantasy or their expansion drive here pretty soon. Is this a good thing for the WNBA?
I don't think so, man. I don't think Portland necessarily really deserves a team. I mean, they can always just come up to Seattle and watch the Storm.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, their own team.
Oh, here we go. So if they don't have their own team, they should just get in the car and drive 2.5 hours to go watch a different team play.
Right. Watch the Storm. Four-time WNBA champs.
Oh my goodness. What arrogance is this? What this guy
their own team. I mean, that sounds a little pretentious, don't you think?
What's that?
I said, I don't think they need their own team. That sounds a little pretentious, don't you think? Why they need their own team? Seattle's so close.
So if that's the case, why you always bitch when I'm saying move to Seattle, send the Seattle Mariners to Portland?
It's entirely different. That's going from a major metropolitan city to Portland adverse the other way around.
Taking shots at Portland. Listen to it, fans. Port's a little cool town. You ain't went down there, had some beer from some of them IPA little foundries.
Look at the way you're talking about him already. I mean,
he's taking shots at Portland, fans.
Cool little hippie town down there. And
oh my goodness, listen to this guy. The arrogance of Cleveland. Come up to Seattle if you want to watch a WNBA game. Get in your car and drive 2.5 hours to a stadium with no parking.
Hey man, more amenities, better view. Yeah.
Taking fans. You guys hear this guy just taking shots at Portland? So you don't think the Aces come back, but Golden State got a team. You got a problem with that one too?
Are they truly in Oakland, or are they playing in the Chase with the Warriors?
They'll probably be playing in the Chase.
Well, I mean,
it's probably San Francisco. It's Golden State, but yeah, they probably be playing in the Chase Center.
Okay.
Oh, so they ain't real if they not playing in Oakland.
Well, I mean, I'm not opposed to it in the same way that I'm opposed to Portland having a team. I mean, they don't really need a team. But
Boy, we just smacking Portland and Brown. I mean, oh my goodness! But you say if they're not in Oakland, if they're not playing at the Oracle,
I prefer to be playing at the Oracle. But if they play at the Chase, then that's fine too. We'll see what they got.
I mean, why would you want to play at the Oracle? Like,
It's more authentic. The fans are more genuine. You know,
And you know, across the way, right across the way is that fancy new stadium.
Well, that's probably where they're going to be playing, Cameron. So I'm just saying, you know, if I had my way, they would be, you know, playing the other one. But you know, from an economic perspective, they're obviously probably going to be playing in the Chase thing.
And for that, Cleveland already poo-pooing the Golden State Valkyries already because they're not playing in the Oracle Stadium in Oakland, California. Cleveland, every week, man, we play a numbers game like we did at the beginning of the show. This week, I want to give you some history. In this week in history, Cleveland, Jesse Blanton became the first black radio station owner and operated in the United States when he bought an Atlantic radio station, WERD, in 1949. That was October 2nd. October 1st, 1952, Rookie of the Year. Who was this Rookie of the Year in 1952? Cleveland, no, looking on Google. Became the first black pitcher to win a World Series game. He pitched the game against the Brooklyn Dodgers in the 1952 World Series, helping the team defeat the New York Yankees 4-2. Who was the pitcher?
I'm gonna go Bob Gibson on that one.
Joe Black.
Ooh.
Cleveland, October 2nd, 1964, Philadelphia's Alec Johnson, Bobby Wine, and Tony Taylor, Vic Power combined for Phillies triple play. The third triple play of the season, might I add, in a 4-3 win. Now, you saying the other week that triple plays don't happen that regularly. They had 3 of them that year. Does that lessen the value of the triple play?
No, it doesn't make it any less unique. A triple play is quite rare.
October 2nd, 1974, this future Hall of Famer right fielder hits his final home run against the Atlanta Braves. Who is this?
That was Willie Mays.
No, actually, I read the question wrong. This future Hall of Fame right-hand hitter hit his final home run against the Cincinnati Reds for his 733rd career home run.
733rd career home run?
733rd career home run on his last bat as in the National League. That was Hank Aaron. I read the question wrong. My bad. October 2nd, 1967, Thurgood Marshall became the first black or the first African American Supreme Court justice after being sworn in. That was October 2nd, 1967. September 29, 1975, the first black minority owner and operated TV station in the U.S. began broadcasting. October 2nd, 1986, President Ronald Reagan appointed Edward J. Perkins as African American ambassador to South Africa. Do you remember that, Cleveland?
No.
Clearly, it just sounded like a political situation. December 3rd, 1995, O.J. Simpson was acquitted for the 1994 murders of his ex-wife and her friend Ronald Goldman. The verdict was seen. The verdict changed television, regardless of what this says. The verdict changed television. Cleveland. Where were you? That's a moment where I can say, where were you when you heard about that?
In my room, getting ready for work, to go to Costco, and just had to wait to hear that one on Pins and Needles. Was definitely expecting the worst and was surprised when they said not guilty.
Was he guilty?
Not according to the jurors, a group of his peers.
His peers weren't in Simi Valley, sir. That's like to Seattle. Let me give you that. It's like Ording. Ording to Ording, Sumner, if you will. It's like that distance. October 2nd, 1994, Don Shula beat his son Mike Shula when the Dolphins beat the Bengals. Only father-son coach to compete in the NFL.
Interesting.
As head coaches, that is. So Cleveland, I got some hip hop history for you. 1928, 1993. This dude released his second album, 187. Who was this?
One more time.
September 28th, 1993. This guy released his second album called 187. Who was this? We'll come back to that one.
I'm gonna go with Spice One, Cam.
Oh, okay, all right, Spice One. Oh, you talked to Google on that? You talked to Siri?
Yeah.
And on the same day, September 28th, 1993, this guy released his first solo album, Return of the Boom Bap. Who was that?
It escapes me. I shouldn't, but it does.
Doom, doom, doom. Doom, that Love's Gonna Get You. Love's Gonna, that was a banker. On the same day, 5 years later.
Wait, whoa. Who are you talking about?
I mean, the Return of the Boom Bap. You didn't hear KRS-One, Love's Gonna Get You?
That's not on that album. That's on
That is?
That's on Edutainment. That's not on Return of the Boom Bap.
Oh, you gonna make me look up this album right now?
Look it up. It's on Edutainment.
You go what? He gonna make me look up this album right now.
Look it up right now. That song is on Edutainment. It's not on Return of the Boom Bap, and that's not even his first.
You didn't even know what it was. You didn't even know what it was.
You said it wrong.
You didn't even know what it was.
That's because you said it wrong.
It wasn't what the Boogie Down Productions.
Okay, so do your fact checking real quick, and then come back and apologize to me in the audience.
Listen to you. There's really no apologizing needed to go down. Let me find the tracks on here. Here we go. Oh, that one had Black Cop. There you go.
Okay.
And that one had Black Cop.
Mm-hmm. And the one before that.
Yeah. And you out of here. Okay. All right. You got away with that one.
Okay, thanks.
More trivia for you.
Thank you.
On the same day, 5 years later, this dude released his third album, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
7/29/1980, this guy released his self-titled album. Self-titled album back in 1980. Obviously, it was on the album. That was Curtis Blow. 9/29/1998. These guys released their third album, Aquemini. Who was the group?
Yeah, it's Outkast.
You good over there?
Yeah.
I know you got a little tense when I brought up the hip hop trivia.
No, I'm still kind of thrown off that you try to throw me off with the KRS. And then try to throw the wrong song. So my brain is kind of like trying to recalibrate. But now I'm with you now. And the other ones are just kind of like, they're softballs. So, yeah. But keep coming.
The U was eighth in the country. They were seventh last week. They should have moved up, shouldn't they have?
No, I mean, I hear that the ending, I didn't see it. I haven't had a chance to look it back up, but I heard the ending was quite controversial, man. Like maybe they shouldn't have actually won the game.
Oh, well, no, they should have won the game, but it was there was some controversy involved. Bama pounds the Bulldogs. I wonder, are you giving the credit to the coach or the players?
It's a combination of the two. It is quite bittersweet to see it. I mean, it's actually quite painful to watch, considering that that their head coach was 25-3 when he was here at the University of Washington. So him able to replicate his success in Tuscaloosa does not help very much. No.
Is Milroe an NFL quarterback?
Not in my opinion.
What do you think about Gonzaga joining the Pac-12?
I like it, especially from a hoop perspective. Obviously, they don't have a football program, but if you look across that hoop, those hoop teams don't look half bad.
Oh, you're looking across, huh? So I was just going to ask you how the Huskies doing, but we see the Huskies is trying to peer back to the, to the old boys on the other side of town.
Okay.
How the Huskies doing in the Big Ten?
I'm not going to answer that kind of question after you kind of started off with that type of statement.
How the Huskies looking in the Big Ten?
They're 1-1.
Just keep it pure facts, huh? You don't want to you don't go do any deep dive on what the Huskies got going on, do you?
1-1 in conference.
What do you think about this meeting between the SEC and the Big Ten? What do you think was going on here? Was that collusion going on?
Meeting? What do you mean? I didn't hear.
These two conferences had a meeting to discuss kind of the future of college football. Is that collusion between those two conferences, you think?
No, they are clearly the two biggest power brokers, so they probably have the most influence and say, and certainly the most.
So let's just wipe out the other guys, wipe out the Pac-10, wipe out the ACC, and
they've already wiped out the Pac-12, and the ACC is teetering on extinction as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean that those other two conferences should absorb all of those teams. And clearly the Pac-12 is kind of, they absorbed the four that they could, and, the other four went to a different conference, actually the other six, leaving just the two teams remaining. So, yeah, I just don't know how many teams you can have in a conference. So after a while, it just becomes kind of like overkill, right?
Who's on your Heisman watch? Is it Cameron Ward or Travis Hunter?
Yeah, there is no more Heisman watch. Are you still on that?
You don't do the Heisman watch no more?
No, I mean it's Travis going away. It's not even close. Unless
he's
hurt or doesn't play any more games.
It's not even close.
No.
Well, from the play he made in week 2?
The fact that he's the best cornerback and the best receiver in the country.
Is he the best cornerback?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of kids that play that position.
Guess who's coaching him? The best cornerback to ever play football.
Oh my goodness gracious! Can Jordan's race team? Can they win the suit against Team France? It says they're monopolistic bullies. Can they win that one?
Not 100% sure.
I mean, it really is going to be about who got the best lawyers, right? And who got the deeper pockets. So Jordan can fight and he can play in that arena, right? Anyway.
Sure. We'll see how that transpires.
Did you happen to see Joshua lose to Dubois?
Oh, no. Anthony Joshua lost again?
Oh man.
Oh.
Like I told you, you should see that fight for it because he won. You should see the fight because he lost.
Well, it is time for him to be all done with this boxing thing. It's him and Deontay Wilder going
we might see them. We might see them together.
Good night together, man. Just
no, we might see them in the ring together. we might see them in the ring together. That was
nobody wants to see that, man.
That's going to distance. Well, that was a big fight everybody wanted to see like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago. They both lost like 3 times in a row now. It's like, nah.
Yeah. Cleveland, Mr. Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle passed away this past week, man. A lot of Dikembe, a lot of people dying, man, here just recently.
Yeah.
But Pete Rose, you said, I asked you this once before. You said he should have been banned. Now that he's passed away, should they lift the ban and bring him into the World Series? I mean, he had a lifetime ban. Life is over. The ban should be lifted. Do you agree or disagree? Whose lifetime when he got the lifetime ban? He wasn't looking at the life of baseball. The lifespan of baseball, the lifespan of all of the major league, was it?
I mean, posthumously, I suppose there's an argument for why he should be in there, and then there's an argument that he was placing bets from the clubhouse of a baseball team.
But he never bet on his team to lose, man.
He just said that. How does anyone ever know?
Oh, you don't trust him?
He said for years and years that he never bet on them at all. So, I mean...
Oh, so do we trust him at all?
No.
Oh, Cleveland don't trust him at all. Cleveland, are hits... Why are home runs more important than hits?
Because home runs driving at least a run. Hits, are just get you on base.
Or is the batting average more important than the RBIs? With that being said,
no, because RBIs are runs batted in.
So why are we paying attention more to the RBI than the 400? It seems like that RBI should be a number that everybody's targeting, not the 400. You follow what I'm saying?
No, 400 is unattainable. The last person to hit 400 was Ted Williams. That was like 80 years ago.
But that's still a thing. Everybody looks at batting average and not runs batted in.
No, actually, batting average has taken a little bit less focus recently, and no one is looking at the number 400. That's not a realistic number.
Will Buster Posey change things for the San Francisco Giants?
Maybe. Depends on well, I think perhaps because that owner is much more willing to spend money than some of the other owners that are in a similar situation.
What's going on in the World Series or the playoffs? We saw the Tigers won earlier. So this is the best out of 3. They beat the Astros. The Astros was in the American League Conference, either won it or played for it for 8 years in a row. That's pretty damn good, huh?
Yes, that's sustained greatness.
So why is the Astros get lack of appreciation from you?
Well, they were cheaters, and they were banging on trash cans. I mean, you remember that the Boston Red Sox manager had to step down for an entire year because of his involvement in it, right? Along with various other people.
So tonight we had the Brewers beat the Mets, so they're 1-1. The Royals beat the Orioles, sent them home without a win, And the Tigers, as you mentioned, beat the Astros. Who has the best chance of going on and defeating their next opponent in the championship game or the series?
So who do the Detroit Tigers play next? Do they play the Yankees or do they play the Indians?
Well, that should be decided already, right? Let me see. Shouldn't that be decided already?
Let's check it out.
Yeah, they play the Indians.
Okay.
The Tigers play the Indians Saturday, October 5th, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. A 10 a.m. game, dog. Are you gonna get up and watch that game?
No.
Just say no.
No. If I'm already up, that's cool, but I'm not gonna get up to do it. And I'll probably already be up, but no, it's not must-see TV by any stretch of the imagination. So I guess the Kansas City Royals playing the New York Yankees have probably more of an uphill battle.
Okay. What's your takeaway from the baseball season, or are you still just enjoying the playoffs? Or are you just ready to enjoy the playoffs?
No, I mean it's been a fun, entertaining season. I mean, I think the most surprising thing has been the aforementioned Detroit Tigers. They were nowhere near playoff contention a few weeks ago, and here they are in the second round, and they really only have one legitimate dominant player, and that's a pitcher who only pitches every fifth game and can only pitch every fourth game in the playoffs. So
well, we'll see how things transpire, man. Fans, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Cleveland, let the people know where they can find you.
At Clevie Wonder on TikTok and Twitter, and Cleveland Still on Instagram.
It's always been a blast to do the show, Cleveland. Fans, you guys, if you guys want to do, this has been a labor of love for myself and Cleveland as well. It takes a lot to kind of get pull strings together to get everything on schedule, to get the show done. I mean, to build the script, to actually get it going, it's a lot easier than pressing the button, which some of you guys might want to, some of you guys might think. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. We give you content. We've been giving you guys fresh content for mostly every week for the last 300 weeks, fans. So hit the subscribe button. That's how one way you can repay us. You don't want to hit Cash App at Voice of the Fans to give you some monetary benefit. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Let us know. Comment on the show. Let us know where you're watching the show, how you're consuming the show, whether running, working, jogging, chilling out. We'd like to know that. Let us know what country you tuning in to watch the show from, because there's about 1,000 you guys a week that watch the show. So tune in. We're missing a lot of likes, fans. Just hit the like button one time for us. Show us some love. Show us appreciation. It helps with the algorithms. Hit that like button. Hit that share button as well. Share it with your sports homie, somebody you know who's into sports and who like to challenge us as well. Hey, you can always reach me at _Voice of the Fans on Twitter, at _Voice of the Fans on Twitter. Thank you guys for showing up. One of the things I do like to do different than most shows is have the number game at the beginning of the show, Cleveland. Also give them This Week in History, the segment where you just kind of educate some of the people. But I also want to leave the show with the quote. The quote I want to use today, Cleveland, is: suicide is not the answer. You are worth it. Don't give up on yourself. Somebody I know just was, recently committed suicide. And so I want to get that message out, man. Call somebody, call a friend, call a family. If you want to talk to somebody, you call me. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm telling you, I'll be right there to respond for you. But suicide is never the answer. You are worth it. Don't give up on yourself, man. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on the people around you. Cleveland, that message is for you and your family and everybody listening to the show. I appreciate you listening to the show, and we want to see you next week. As always, fans, thank you for making our day, or thank you for making our voice your choice. Thank you guys once again, fans. Thank you for your time, Cleveland.
My pleasure.